Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Minecraft Together. There it is behind my head. Oh wow, this place is changing, it is evolving. We're going to have a little walk around the village area and see all the new things that have been popping up, because lots of people have been joining the server. But before we get to that, I feel like this series, it needs some music, it needs an intro song, and since this is a series about community, I think that you guys should decide what music we have for the intro. So we are going to roll 3 different songs, and then there'll be a card on the screen, and you can vote, and I'll pick the one with the most votes, and that'll become the music for the series. Let's roll music number 1. So there it is. That is the first option, known as, I guess, option number 1. We'll do these sequentially to make everything nice and easy. You can see I've just been doing a little bit of this and that in my base. People are constantly leaving me signs and gifts and presents as well. So thank you to all of you for leaving those. Now let's roll clip number 2 and song number 2, and let's see what we think of that. So that was song number 2, option number 2. I think that one just might be my favourite. And down here in the basement, check this out. More gifts from these very generous people. You lot are too kind, I tell ya. Now, I was a little bit hesitant to accept this, but the thing is, I'm an end game player, so getting stuff like the elytra and all these other materials is generally something that's just holding me back from doing what I want to do in this game. So I don't know if I'm going to use these gifts or not, but I will take them for now, and thank you as always to the peeps dropping me off with stuff. You see these 10 diamonds? Someone walked up to me before I was recording and just threw them at me. That is extremely generous of you. I appreciate it, but I'm thinking what I might do is maybe make like a basement area like this and put loads of item frames down, and every time I get given a diamond, I'll just put, you know, one on the wall or something like that, and we'll see what it looks like later on in the season. Because of course I was given, where is it? I've got some diamond blocks somewhere. Oh, don't tell me I've lost track of them. There we are. These things were just thrown at me as well. Craziness, crazy times on the server. Anyway, let's jump into the 3rd song. So there it is, my friends. Those are your 3 options. In the top right of your screen, you might see a card. If you see it, click on it, leave a vote, and then the one with the most votes will become the music for the series. So we got that to look forward to. And right now, what I want to do is run around this place and give you a tour, because lots more people have come onto the server. But with lots of people coming onto the server, there is not as much space. There has been a little bit of what we call build humping. This over here, not blaming this person at all or anything like that. I think this is fine. This is a really cool build. But you can see things are getting a little squashed together. So we kind of need some planning. And what I'm going to do in this episode is start throwing down some paths into a new area and putting down plots so that people can build and not everything is entirely squashed together. However, you know, I did kind of make it a thing during the live stream that we would come into this village and build all squashed up together, because I think there is a certain charm to that as well. Like if you wander around this area, there are just paths going all over the place and building sort of on top of each other, and it's actually really cool. I like it a lot, but I think what we should do is just have a little bit of planning here. Like the path kind of ends in this spot. We could do with a path coming over here and connecting to this one. So I'm going to go into another part of the village and do all of that. Going to lay out paths, set up plots for other people to build. And I'm also going to wander around and just look at these wonderful builds that have popped up. Some really fancy architecture going on. So much cool stuff everywhere to see, and it is wonderful to see the server bursting into life. Now, yesterday was the 1st of the month, as of me recording right now, and Patreon had a little bit of a boo-boo. It spent a long time pledging processes, and not all of them are done still. So we had, I think, about 70 people at one point on yesterday, and we've got about, I don't know, 40 or 50 on at the moment. So later today, because it's early in the morning, I'm expecting to see over 100 people on the server, and we need to be prepared for all of those people coming on. So that's why we're going to be setting out these plots. Now, some of the peeps have already been doing some amazing building around here. As you can see, there is just stuff everywhere, and I actually spend too much time just wandering around looking at all the cool stuff and getting inspired. We also have that sign right there, which looks fabulous. And if we just go in this direction, what you'll see in the background here is this wall. And I really like this because it kind of defines this area that we are settling in. Do you see all of these spruce slabs everywhere? Hi. Yeah, there's a wall going across here from one side to the other. There's also this fantastic field of wheat right here with like a little bit of a pond and a bridge going over it. That looks really great. But those walls are extending over in this direction as well. So where we're in a savanna and we get these big bulges of land popping up, they've kind of created like a natural bowl for us to sit in the middle of. And so these walls have helped kind of create and define some borders for all of this. And so what I want to do is now go around and in this big empty area that we're in at the moment, just start making some plots for the people that are going to be logging on later in the day. So there's another set of those walls as well, and they look really fantastic. There's also a really cool building on the top of that. We've got a floating island. There is just stuff going on everywhere, and I want to work on getting some plots in place and making sure all the new peeps are accommodated for. We're getting a ways into this at the moment. I have decided that we would start off by using wood blocks to show where paths go, and then use cobblestone to mark out where the plots will be built. And actually, let's go all the way back to the beginning. However, this bit right here is a tree farm. I think we should tear this tree farm down and move farming operations to outside this village area, because the overworld is going to reset in the not so far away future, and because we figured out how we can add more dimensions to this world, what we'll probably do is take this area and make it like a floating island in a void place that you can go and visit, and maybe you visit it in adventure mode and then it just becomes this kind of relic of the past. Getting a little bit off track there with some ideas that I've had. It looks like Cuplex is making water leak out the side of my head at the moment. You go ahead with that, Cuplex. You do what you got to do. But I really like this little entrancey bit here. So I decided what we would do. Oh my goodness me! I don't even have to explain things to people. There were definitely wooden planks here a moment ago, and I thought, hey, there's like this cave here. Let's have it go down. And literally, I was thinking the same thing. Mr. Caxio. Yeah, leave blocks all around here. These peeps know how to play this game. They know how to play. So it's going to come up here. I'll just throw in one or two of these so it's obvious. It's going to connect with a path over here. So we will tear out this little bit. So there is a connection right here. And I hope people don't mind us doing this. This is part of playing together, right? You know, you got to be respectful. I'm not going to tear down the entire fence, but we are going to make a little connection over here. So then with cobblestone, I have been marking out plots. We've got unclaimed small humble plot right there. We're going to have a garden up the top here, hilltop garden. Then there's a big plot just over here, as you can see, medium plot unclaimed. And then there's some plots over here. So I think an eye in the sky view is going to be so much better to see what's going on right here. But I want to put down some more of these first of all, just because it's not quite complete yet over in this area, as you can see. As we get further around though, some of the plots become a little bit jokey. Like over here, there's there's one with a pre-built basement, as it says on the sign. So big plot with pre-made basement unclaimed. And then over here, submerged plot, I recommend moving the water or something like that. I guess while I get involved here, I could also mention that I did a little bit of resource gathering, just a tiny bit. I've not had too much time to play on the server today. All the administration work and other stuff that I do behind the scenes is really taking a ton of time, but it will be worth it in the long run. I would like to make some slabs just for getting up and down. I think I'm going to make them out of oak. We've used a chacha a lot, so we'll switch over to this material. Do you know what I need's already in my inventory? But anyway, I have been gathering resources, and this is how we're going to do it this season. We are going to color code shulker boxes. You know, green items go in there, brown ones, well, brown is wood, so all of that goes in there. And then over here I've collected some leaves, which are going to throw down as well. We've got some achacha, jungle, but I think the oak leaves look the nicest. These leaf textures are really gorgeous. I mean, they were good before for making builds look nice, but now they are just fantastic, and I think the oak leaves are my favourite of all of them. Might be getting a little bit carried away here, but we kind of made sort of a secret entrance. It's kind of obvious. Maybe not if you're not looking particularly there. But then you can walk through here and get into this cave, and I don't know if anything's ever going to go there. But I need to take a break at the moment. It's the middle of the day. It's time to have lunch. Oh, wow, this is looking really, really good. And on the side over here, we just kind of figured out the path a little bit. But I really need to get some more plots done. So when I'm back on the server, I'm going to focus on doing that, filling out this entire area with more plots, more paths laid out, and then we'll have like a bird's eye look in the sky at the area. I cannot stop playing. I keep thinking, right, leave the computer in 5 minutes, and then I've gone and marked out a load of plots going over there, and then I notice Caxio over here connecting our secret entrance, I think, to this bit right here. So we'll have a path going through the cave as well, and around the corner here. So maybe this thing don't need to be so secretive after all. We'll just have it branch off and go down there. So I've had my break, I've just been doing a little bit of building, and now we can have an eye in the sky look at this area. That is quite a lot of plots over there, maybe enough for about 20 buildings. It's kind of a little bit smaller than the size of the village already, but we are ready to expand, and there are so many gorgeous buildings in this area. I love this bridge, by the way. I didn't get to show this earlier in the video when I was wandering around. I wanted to do that. That's a very nice build as well. The oak and the chatter actually go together really well. It's a good theme that we're seeing. But anyway, going over here, I think this building has popped up while I was on my break. I don't recall seeing it earlier. But anyway, I haven't really messed with that area over there. There is some space, but I felt like we've just taken over this bit, and we'll leave our plot building in this area. So if we just go directly above it, you can see where all the plots are and where all the paths are going to be. And some people have even started building the paths as well, as you can see here, throwing in some gravel with the path and grass, putting in the little achacha posts. It's looking really fine. This is going to evolve into a wonderful place. I think we got our first plot owner. I just noticed someone had put down a chest and a furnace, and they've claimed the plot as well. That's fantastic. I'll have to keep my eye out for that. But next up in the episode, we're actually going to do just a teeny tiny bit of admin work and start adding some mob heads to the server. When I started this series, I wanted to show you some of the administration work, and it kind of hit me, this might not be the most interesting of things. But anyway, we are in a program called WinSCP. This is talking to the server, and it's kind of like Windows Explorer. We can see our files over here. We can also see the server's files as well. And what we need to do is actually grab the functions and the loot tables from our patron vanilla server, because all of that stuff is set up correctly. But essentially what I'm doing is I'm getting the more mob heads and the even more mob heads that are on xisumavoid.com and installing them to our new server. So this is not to be confused with the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. We also have a vanilla patron server as well that has the buy and bundle terrain, and what we need to do is grab these two right here and move them into the functions folder. The main one has all of the functions for the custom mobs like zombie villagers and stuff like that. Actually, no, it's the mobs one that does that, and the main one is just the one that tells it to use this. So if we go into the loot tables, we also want to grab all of these things as well. What we'll find happens now is it takes a while to transfer the files, because when it transfers lots of little files, it has to open and close a connection for each file. So if we were to transfer a bigger file than all of these together, it would actually be quicker, which is a little bit strange. And there is something in here we actually have to delete. Inside of mobs, we've got all of the ones that require the even more mob heads module, because they don't actually have loot tables, so we have to apply them in game. And you'll see here there are ones for shulker boxes for each different type of shulker box, and we're actually going to go ahead and delete that, because on the patron server we have a shulker spawner that spawns lots of different coloured shulkers, and they will actually just drop a shulker box of the same colour. So we're going to delete that there, which also reminds me that I've got to go in and change one of these files as well. It's that one right there. So if I drag and drop that into Notepad++, I can show you what we're talking about here. So what we're looking at here is the system that targets all of the different mobs that don't have loot tables, and then it gives them one of those custom loot tables that we've just copied to our hard drive. It also does this for shulkers, so I'm going to go and get rid of those lines right there, because we're not doing that on this server, and down the bottom here all of these lines have to go as well. We don't want those ones. So now I can save the file, and what we've got to do next is upload them to the Let's Play Minecraft Together server. Now that is on a different physical server, like a box in the real world, and I've got another connection opened up here. So when we go into this one, we can look at our functions and our loot tables over here, and this is already connected to the world of the Let's Play Minecraft Together world. So if we go into the data folder, there is an empty functions one right here, and what we're going to do is copy those functions and those loot tables over to that server. So we've taken the files from one server, edited them, and now we're moving them over to a different one. So now to test the mob head loot tables, we should be able to start just by typing reload. So I've transferred the files to the server, and we don't need to restart the server because we're in 1.12. If I type reload, this command is not supported and may cause issues when using some plugins. Ah, interesting. Because we're on Spigot, I might not actually be able to do it that way. Then again, at the bottom of that it said reload complete, so maybe it did actually reload the loot tables. We're about to find out. Anyway, I have a command here, give @player diamond sword 1 damage value 0, and then the MBT data says enchant 16 at level 1000 and 21 at level 1000. So that's going to give us sharpness and looting 1000. We're then going to grab that sword and put it into our hand right here so we can do a quick little bit of testing. So if I spawn in a zombie villager and slay this guy, there will be all sorts of drops on the ground, and one of the things that I don't see is a mob head. It's really likely that we would actually get that one straight away, so I don't think that is working. Next is the Vindicator, which has its own loot table, and look at that. So it's dropped it straight away, which means that the reload did actually work, and the mobs will drop their heads. However, not the ones that require it from the function. So the mushroom doesn't need a function. That is a ludicrous amount of items on the ground. I hope no other players are in this area. This is spawn. I don't want them getting some cheaty free items. Right, almost done deleting the cheaty items, and there we go, 4 different mob heads that I've tested. So confirmed, the loot tables are working. Now what I got to do is set up the function, and I think I might be able to do that with just a game rule. I don't know if it's going to pick this thing up automatically, but if we go through to, there it is, game loop function. So let's do that. Main loop, that should be the one, right? Or mobs variants. I think I do that one because it references mob variants. So now let's try the zombie villager again. Did I need to do reload? I might have need to have done a reload, I think. Welcome to Life of Admin, peeps. There's lots of problem solving to do. And this is how we've solved it. So loop MC function references the mob variants file over here. This runs through and adds all of the loot tables to those mobs. Now what this relies on is a scoreboard called tick, and the reason it relies on that is because this actually runs every 10 ticks, so twice in a second this will run, and that lowers the impact it has on the server, which is a really cool thing. I'm not sure if I actually pushed this optimization to the website for download, but it means that in the game we have to create that one, right? So objectives add tick and then dummy, and now it will be adding a score to that from this point on. And by the way, dummy just means it's like a placeholder for something, for you to add points to yourself. So in theory, unless I need to reload anything, it's running right now. We also have a player over here, so I'm just going to go the other side of the wall so they don't get any cheaty items. Okay, chat's going to go wild now, but that on the side of your screen is evidence that it is working, because the ticks are counting up to 10 and getting reset over and over again. So this is me just trying to figure out where the technology has gone wrong, and it doesn't appear to be at that point. I've figured it out, my friends, and I got a crowd of people watching me try experiments over here. So I just executed this command because I figured, why don't I rename a Jeb sheep and test this specifically, right? And it finds the problem. There is no objective found by the name var. Also, apparently a lot of people have taken sheep and renamed them to Jeb. Okay, here we need one called var that is a dummy. I'm going to, well, I don't think I even need to reload anything. So if we put down a parrot and we kill it, we get its head. Yes, and that should now work with everything else as well. Cool. So I'll do a couple more tests, make sure this has all worked, but then it means that all the mob head drops have been set up. So with our administration work done for the day, I had a live stream in the evening, And that live stream has just finished, and look at how many people are online. Absolutely crazy right now. We are actually kind of pushing the server a little bit. The world has been moving slow. It's not been terribly bad, but considering how many people are on here, that is awesome. However, we ordered a new server with tons of fancy, awesome hardware, really good specs that we're going to put this onto, so it should perform even better in the future. Anyway, here is the result of me going exploring during my live stream. Like, I didn't really get what I was after. I got a few good things like some flowers so we can bone meal those for dyes. I got some clays and a couple of things from treasure chests, but I was looking for a dark oak forest. Come out here, thousands of blocks. And apparently there's one right next to the spawn area, which is just typical. But I did find myself some doggies, and then right at the end of the stream, a very determined player here came and found me and is going to show me the way back, which is awesome. So I guess I'll meet you when we're back at the village with our doggies. So we're not back yet, but I found a dark oak forest. I've been over here off in the distance chopping down trees, getting myself 21 saplings and also loads and loads of dark oak wood for building, which we'll be using real soon. Also, we've got a new member in the family. I bred the doggies together. I don't know where the little chappie is. He's somewhere around this area. Aha, there you are, you cute little fella. But anyway, I found someone's area of operation. The reason I call it that and not a base is because I kind of want to remind everyone that Overworld gets reset when 1.13 comes out. I know it's not the best of situations, but I thought it'd be a really cool challenge to challenge ourselves to build together in the Nether, which we're going to start in the next episode. Now, over here, I'm not entirely sure what's going on because there's lots of like complete lime wall, 1 stack, but then there's another one over here that says complete, and for some reason it's 7. Maybe they know the exact amount of resources they need to gather for some sort of project, but it's interesting. Maybe it's oh look, yeah, no, because here they're not complete and it says 2 stacks of mud. Someone is building something. I'm very curious to know what that's going to be. But anyway, we've found our way back to the village now, right? The Nether portal. I'm going to push my doggies through here and it should be a nice easy journey home. I'm home, and someone very determined has decided to stay here and wait until I get home. It seems. Hi, I'll read all of this in a second. I've got some doggies I'm trying to get over here. Hey, there's the little scamp. Come on, in you get. I think the others are stuck at the door. They're stuck there. Give them a nudge. Give them a nudge. We need to get them in. So my friends, we're hanging out on the roof of my base. There's a bustling economy happening over here, like a chess trading wall. And there's a horse on the roof. Of course there is. Of course there is. And I got myself a cow head. I forgot to mention that. I got that while slaying cows out in the wild. So that was pretty cool. We got one of the mob heads that we added today. And I got a question here to read. This is from Anis Amit. And let's read the question. Will you set up a command block setup to clear XP of the player who dies? You have read my mind, my friend. There should be at least a little bit of a penalty for death, right? You get to keep all your items. That means players can have a good time getting along with one another. It could be that some players get upset that they lose their XP, but I think it's a fair punishment for dying, right? Considering you get to keep everything. So we will add that into the server real soon, and I will show you exactly how to do that in your own worlds as well. But that is going to be it from me this episode of Let's Play Minecraft Together. And if you enjoyed it, leave a like. As always, thank you for the support. I'll see you in the next episode soon. So ciao for now. Bye-bye.